Well, welcome to join our webinar on Asia Pacific OSH practice. So, today, we will have 4 speakers from Malaysia, Hong Kong, and the representative from UK. Well, the first topic is by Dr. K.S. Lee. He is the senior consultant of the MTR Hong Kong. He will deliver a speech. The topic is latest development of OSH in Hong Kong and Macau. And the second speaker is Dato, the president of Malaysia Occupational Health and Safety Practitioners. He will deliver a topic on Malaysia NGO on OSH roles and responsibilities. The third speaker is Mr. Evan Ng. He is the immediate past chairman of IOSH Hong Kong branch. I think that everyone know what organization IOSH is. His topic is a professional prospect of IOSH in the world. The last but not least is by Mr. C.K. Lim. He's the manager of SHEA Academy. His topic is Malaysia Occupational Health and Safety Competence Framework and Legal Requirement. So, gentlemen, please switch off your microphone when the topic, when the speech is in process. Otherwise, you will be disturbed, and then we will hear some feedback from you. Well, after every topic, we will have a short Q&A time. So you may raise your question or raise your query at the Q&A time after each section. So let's start our webinar. The first one is by Dr. K.S. Lee. His topic is latest development of OSH practice in Hong Kong and Macau. Dr. Lee, please.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry. I just want to remind that our practitioners are from Malaysia, Hong Kong, Macau, and some from the mainland China. So the participants in Macau and the mainland China people, they used to use Chinese in communication. So the first part of our speech by Dr. Lee will be conducted in Chinese and supplementary with English. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. First of all, let me to share my PowerPoint. Okay, is everybody can see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. Let me to introduce myself. K.S. Lee. Okay, I'm a safety practitioner. This is the first time to use the bilingual language to deliver this safety talk for me. At least this is for me. Okay. 喺澳門同埋國內嘅朋友，你哋見唔見到個 PowerPoint？ 冇反應。可能佢哋睇到聽唔到啊。OK。Let me to. Some technical problems.
睇到啊？
睇唔睇到？
睇到，睇到。
係睇到得啦，睇到得啦。呢次我哋嘗試一下，就係用一個高科技啦嚇，咁去俾一個遠程嘅 safety talk 啦，係咪？咁嘗試一下啊，用中英雙語睇下個效果如何。不過咧，肯定呢陣間咧就食晒螺絲咧，就打到亂晒龍啦。This is my contents of my presentations. We will kind of in 3 sessions. The first one is modern safety theory. 呢個 course 咧，即係呢個 talk 啦嚇，我哋就會分3個部分啦。第一個部分咧就會講即係現代嘅安全理論啦。跟住第二個部分咧就係究竟我哋就會講一下咧就係安全人員同埋管理人員嘅角色啦。最後一個咧就會講翻咧就係管理層點樣喺推動嗰個安全管理裏邊，佢哋究竟要做啲咩咧咁啊？咁我哋都明嘅，喺澳門咧就冇任何關於呢一方面嘅即係法例或者法規嘅啊。咁所以呢度咧我哋咧就同大家咧就共同探討一下。This is my presentations. in 3 sessions. The first one is a modern safety theory, and then the second one is the role of the safety practitioner and the other management. And the last one is the management how to assist to implement the safety management system. Everybody will know that to now, no any legal requirements in Macau, okay, and to classify or to regulate any formal safety management system. So that's why they will study or refer the Hong Kong requirements. Okay, the first one, I just want to emphasize what's the definition of safety. 澳門嘅朋友啊，其實澳門嗰啲咧，我想問下咧，或者國內嗰啲咧，你係想我講廣東話定抑或係講普通話咧？就係國內的朋友，你要我講那個廣東話還是那個普通話呢？
我建議你說普通話好，在馬來西亞他們也要懂普通話。
哎，那就更好了。那講吧。
我懂。
现在在我的屏幕里面，我看不见自己啊，我不知道你们看见我没有。那我就用那个普通话来说吧啊，虽然我的普通话水平很低啊，请不要见笑啊。According to the godfather of the safety science in mainland China, Professor Liu Qian, he defined it. The definition of safety is the existing state of the human bodies and mental not to be disturbed by external factors and their guaranteed conditions. 如果我们说那个普通话的话，在中文里面呢，我们是这样说的，就是我们中国一个非常有名气的一个老师，这是刘乾嘛。刘乾老师怎么说呢？他说什么叫安全呢？安全的定义很简单嘛。他说，安全就是人的身心免受外界因素危害的存在状态及其保证条件啊。这个对我们来讲是非常重要的啊。我们首先要强调的就是人，而不是其他。所以很多人说啊，安全嘛，安全是跟那个结构结构有没有用啊？是不是结构的安全了？对不起，如果这个结构呢跟人没什么关系的话呢，那对不起，那不是我们安全专业的去研究的范畴。我不能说那不是安全啊。We will say, how about the structural safety? If the safety do not involve any human behavior or the injury or something like that, or so sorry about this. This is not should not be. I can say this should not be research or study by our safety practitioner. Okay, everybody will know this is a safety triangle, right? One fatal case normally. We already have a 29 serious injury or 300 and sorry not or and 300 minor accidents. 如果大家看见这个是我们在安全里面非常有名气的所谓的一个三角了。这个三角是什么呢？如果有一种死亡的个案呢，在后面呢应该同一个时间呢已经发生了29起那个比较严重的一个事故，然后呢后面呢还有了300宗呢就可能是一个比较没那么严重的事故吧。我强调了这个三角呢不一定是要比29比那个300啊，这个是不过是一个你们看见是一个趋势而已嘛啊。好了，现在我们再来看一看，这是英国的标准啊。Let us to read the BS AX00，这个是安全我们在国内呢也在研究也在学，其实也差不多了。这个就是急案件的一个管理体系嘛。你们看见最主要是一开始的时候，你们能不能够知道我们现在在什么地方啊？然后呢，你们就制定一个方针。然后呢，就组织这个架构然后一步一步呢就把那个安全给实施出来啊。Let me to introduce this BS AXOC. This is a management system for occupational health and safety. Where are you come from? Then actually, and this management system is come from ISO 9000。OK。你们也看见啊，这个是8800呢，其实是跟那个 ISO 呢9001它是从哪里出来的？基本来讲，整个那个结构是没什么改变的啊。好了，另外最新的就是我们叫 ISO 啦，啊45001，这个是最新的了，这是2年以前刚刚开始推出来嘛，啊。这个其实更加清楚的明白的跟那个9001拼轨了。你们看见他们最主要的内容是什么呢？就是 pen to check， 就是 pen to check 啊。你们可以看得见啊，其实跟那个9001没什么区别，是同一个思维啊，同一个方案。然后呢，后面呢，我们再看香港。这个香港劳工处他们自己写的一个 Code of Practice on Safety Management。Let me to introduce. This is the Code of Practice on Safety Management issued by Hong Kong Labour Department. You will know that all the elements are come from BS AXOC。大家可以看见啊，在这个Code of Practice 在这个工作守则里面呢，你们看见里面的所有元素啊，其实跟刚才我们看的那个8800呢，其实没什么区别嘛。啊，你都看见了啊，基本来讲是一模一样的啊。我再给你看啊，这个是8800嘛，对不对啊？你们都能看见啊，这个8800一开始的时候，这是一个initial stage review。and then 呢，我们要搞什么呢？就是搞一个方针出来，就是搞一个 policy。and then 呢，我们搞的就是这个 organizing 啊 ，and then 呢就 implementation。and then to measure finally we will audit。and then find out what is the defect or deficiency。and then feedback to each factor。这个情况就是跟我们现在香港用的COP。其实是一模一样的大家能看见，开始的时候是你有没有什么planning 去找出我们具体在什么位置，然后嘛我们发展一个管理系统，然后呢我们就组织那个资源人手也好一起去implement 那个管理系统，最后呢我们就看一下在整个推行的过程里面有没有一部分我们是搞得不好的然后呢，我们就用一个 audit 的形式用那个audit的形式去找出来有什么缺点，有什么我们不足的地方然后呢就去改善一下好了，我们再看一看 what is the traditional safety management what is the advantage and the disadvantage。我们可以看一看传统的安全管理呢，到底有什么好处，还有不好处呢？你要看见传统的安全管理呢，我们主要用的观点是比较窄的没那么宽的去看啥呀？就是看那个事故的发生然后呢，我们就是去了解一下到底发生什么事情。但是我们看问题是比较那个观点没那么宽我们一般来讲呢，就是事故发生以后 ，tend to be active instead of a reactive. Okay, not a proactive actions. We will investigate the accident or incident after it occurred. 我们一般来讲呢，就是在出事以后呢，我们才去调查，所以在那个防止哪一边呢？我们是比较做的没那么好然后还有一个什么呢？就是他们一般来讲就是consider the safety as a separate function rather than a part of all functions. This is the major point, you know. If the safety just a just a part of the operation system. Okay, it means that what is the function, what is the major function of the safety, just to guarantee the operation system instead of the safety system. As a safety practitioner, it is my profession. We should use the point of the safety system, okay, and then use our safety system theory to solve the system safety problem. 我们作为一个安全专业呢，我们是怎么看问题的？我们看问题的话，应该就是用那个安全系统，用安全系统来看那个系统安全，然后呢，用我们的安全系统论去解决安全问题啊。还有一个，就是他们一般来讲呢，就是用那个我们叫 project oriented 啊，就是看。 那个 project 就是那个项目为主，而不是那个系统为主。如果我们说安全是一个系统的话，我们只能从安全系统去看那个系统安全。另外还有一个是什么呢？就是那个老板啊，一般来讲，老板是什么呢？他们是用一个我们叫 Field X。Do you know what the Field X？Field X is that the boss or the management or the senior management, they already confirmed that all the workers are bad men. Okay, they never obey our safety rule. 我们是这样看的啊，如果是 X 那个理论的话呢，那个老板呢一般来讲就是说，所有的工人他们都是一个坏人，他都不听我的，他喜欢干自己的事啊。我们给他的规矩呢，他们一般来讲也不是那么容易去跟从的啊。然后呢，他们一般来讲就是说，他们已经假设了啊，工人应该对那个事故啊，他去负有全部的责任，而不是那个管理阶层的问题，应该是那个工人的问题。 The senior management always will focus on the attitudes of the worker instead of their management system. This is the major point from the major viewpoint of the traditional safety management. 另外还有一个呢，就是在管理者来说嘛，老板来说嘛，他们最主要是用那个推广啊，这是怎么样呢？就用那个 promotion， 那他们怎么去 promote 那个 safety 呢？很简单了，他说啊，我搞不同的活动，搞完以后呢，你们应该了解，你们应该知道的，啊，搞完了就拉倒了啊，他们一般来讲是这样的，对于那个管理者来讲啊，对那个管理者来讲，他们呢应该呢就是啊给他一点奖励。如果对下面那个工人的话呢，他们说。 啊，你们搞得不好，我打你屁股啊，就那么简单。那当然了，基于这一个论点的话呢，他们就非常的严格的要求they always strongly emphasize on the rule, okay, and call it supervision instead of them to how to improve the communication, consultation, and the manage and to improve their safety management system. 好了，我们现在要来讲啊，what is the risk management？ 什么叫那个风险管理啊？在风险管理里面呢是有几个不同的层次的。头一个是那个战略的那个层面啊。 在那个战略的层面里面呢，我们能看见啊，主要是两个，一个是strategic system level and the second part is the operation level 啊，在那个战略的层面里面呢，我们看见啊，他们应该是平衡啊，它是怎么平衡那个机会跟那个负面的那个风险呢？啊，这个是我们叫 risk base 啊，他们看问题啊很简单，这个情况是风险比较高一点还是低一点？如果他们风险高一点的话，他们用的那个实践呢用那个其他方面的比较多 啊。如果那个风险比较低的话，他们一般来讲呢就没说那么多啊。另外还有一个就是第二个层次啊 ，the second one is the operational level with the department activity and projects 啊。这个是一个操作，一个操作的一个层面啊。好了，这个是一个非常典型的一个 model 啊，从哪来的呢？这个是应该开始的时候就是那个 AS4360，this is a very typical risk assessment model 啊。It comes from AS4360, Australia standard, right? This is a risk management. The first one, you will see, what is the risk assessment? What's risk assessment? 什么叫风险管理？风险评估呢 ？Only this part, okay? Only this part is risk assessment. If the whole part is risk management. You know 啊，我要强调的就是这一个部分我们叫风险评估，以整个个情里面所有全包的呢，我们叫风险管理，这就是两码事啊，别把它搞错啊。所以我们说风险管理是包含了那个风险评估，但是风险评估不等于风险管理，这个是我要强调的啊。好了，我们再看一看，我们那个安全人员跟那个管理者有什么区别呢 ？What's the difference between of the safety practitioner and the other management? The first one is the safety organization. 这个是很重要的啊，一个整个安全架构啊。在公司内部里面呢，我们搞安全的人应该搞啥呀？我们就是先把公司内部的人啊，把他们怎么协调起来 ，how to coordinate all the parties and work together. This is my professional, our professional 啊。好了，我们再看一看啊，在那个架构里面呢，我们应该呢建立了一个我们叫责任制度吧，怎么推广那个安全及那个健康的那个文化啊，最主要是令我们的那个安全政策，就是老板定下那个 safety policy 啊，可以持续的那个实施及发展下去，这个也是一个很关键的一个问题啊。What's the major function of our safety practitioners or our safety departments? We will try our best to establish a management system, and then we should think how to try our best to promote a positive occupational health and safety cultures, and then how to implement and continually develop. This is very important. 好了。另外，我们还有另外一个层次，就是那个我们叫 line management 啊 ，line management。在整个架构里面呢，我们要搞清楚哪一个跟哪一个的关系啊，在不同层次的关系，他们应该也搞得非常清楚，要不然的话呢就很麻烦了啊。还有一个啊，就是每一级的那个管理者啊，我们所谓的order line management 啊。Order line management. He has an important role in safety. Okay, they are holding so many lives in their health. They should not. Okay, they never to afraid to tell their boss which safety measures should be taken. 我的意见还是认为啊，在每一级的那个管理责任里面呢，他们也有每一个人的自己的责任，他们是很重要的啊。每一个人，他们的下属啊，他们下边的每一个人啊，他们的生命，他们的命都掌握在那个管理者的手里，他们不应该害怕去说给老板知道，该有什么那个安全的措施应该去搞。
Sorry, Dr. Lee, you
Yeah.
have 5 minutes left.
OK， 最后一个我们要讲清楚，就是那个安全部门的责任啊。all the safety practitioners should not play 9 roles. This is very important, sir. In Macau or in Hong Kong, always our safety practitioner will tell me, "Oh, our workload very heavy. Why? Because I need to implement so many safety plans or safety measures." Okay, stop. Please take care. We just a consultant. We just a advisor. We should not play 9 roles to implement the safety plan. Okay. We should not play the 9 role, I emphasize. We just a promoter. Try all our best to push our boss to implement. In that, we implement. That's very important. 所以我常常跟人家说啊，很多人跟我投诉啊，哎呀，我们呐一天干到晚啊，累得要命啊，干嘛呀？就是我们有很多那个安全的事情要搞，但是我看啊，那个不是我们的责任，你应该怎么去把你老板给推出来，要他们坚持，要他们去推广，而不是我们去，我们不过是一个顾问而已嘛，啊。另外，安全部门我们看。然后我们是什么呢？我们是一个safety consultant， 我们是一个顾问。我们应该搞啥呀？我们应该去 plan， 去 prepare instead of implement。OK and then we should provide our professional advice to our top management。我们去计划，我们去制定那个安全计划，然后呢，向那个管理者，就是我们的老板建议，最主要是建议啊。另外还有一个，我们应该去搞那个协调，然后去看一看整个安全计划的他们是怎么去实施出来，而不是我们去搞，我们是协调去监察啊。然后呢，我们就看有什么问题，我们要去抖精一下啊。最后呢，我们就as a safety professional, it is time for us to provide our professional training。每一层的员工有不同的那个责任啊，这个是一张图片里面就把所有责任的人写得清清楚楚了啊。好像那个 senior management 啊 ，they should create a culture 啊 ，how to create a safety culture, and then the line management how to perform their management works 啊。OK。高职的那个管理者，他有什么责任呢？就是给一个安全的工作环境呢 ，provide environment 呢 ，and then resource and then monitor 啦，and then how to ensure everything under control and comply with the related health and safety rule or laws including the legal requirement and the in-house safety requirement。这个也是一模一样啦啊。就是他们那个高层管理者，他应该为我们提供了一个比较好的一个环境了啊。然后呢，他们应该就跟外面的那个其他的团体啊去保持那个联系，要不然的话呢，就比较麻烦了。他们不知道外面的世界嘛。我们作为一个安全专业呢，我们也应该呢提供一个系统啊，给他们一个建议啊。如果他们有什么难题的话，我们去帮他们解决啊。还有一个，他是怎么去提供一个effective, efficient, reliable promotion program， 这个是很重要的啊。如果他们不能提供一个有效的、有效率的啊，能够持续下去的一个推广计划的话呢，这个公司的管理呢，尤其是那个安全管理管不好的啊，这个你们最主要要搞清楚。很多人不停的跟我说，既然那个搞那个管理的、搞生产的人去管安全，那要我们安全人员干嘛呢？你们要分清楚，我们安全不是去搞他们生产 而我们也不是搞那个，我们只是提供一个意见，就好像一个医生一模一样。当我看见有一个病人出来了，我们是什么呢？我们没办法呀，我们只能告诉他，你有什么病，你应该吃什么药，但是我们不可能代替他们去吃药，我们只能够开药，开出来了吃不吃不关我们的事啊。这个是应该分清楚，安全人员跟那个管理人员的区别在哪？我仲有幾多分鐘啊
5分。
Okay. Thank you so much. That's all for my presentation because time's up.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Lee. Well, is there any, ladies and gentlemen, have any questions or queries on Dr. Lee's topic? Please feel free to raise your questions. Dr. Lee, well, is it possible to invite Professor Liu Qian to deliver a talk to us?
Okay, I try. But up to date, I have not any promise because I cannot go to Beijing.
Yes.
I will be isolated at least 1 month.
Yes. Well, Professor Liu
Next
Qian
time.
is the real expert in the mainland China in OSH.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the pioneer, is our godfather, especially in the safety science field development.
Yes.
He's our pioneer.
Thank you, Dr. Lee.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
Thank you. Well, let's go on to the second topic. Well, the second topic will be delivered by Dato Dr. Raman. He is the president of the Malaysian Occupational Health and Safety Practitioners Associations. His topic is Malaysia NGO OSH roles and responsibility. Dr. Kala, please.
Hello, welcome to everyone. Very nice to see. Yeah, very nice to see a lot of participants. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Right. I see there are almost about 34 participants are here. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Siam Ho, whom I know personally, and take this initiative to have a webinar online training. And then, and for me also, it's the first time doing training or giving a talk in this online. So if I go somewhere wrong or slow, please pardon me. Okay, today I've taken the Malaysia NGO OSH roles and responsibilities, as you can see in the screen. And then I also like to thank SRDI, SHEA Academy, Macau University of Science and Technology, School of Liberal Arts, and of course MOSHPA as today's participants in this program. And I also like to thank Mr. K.S. Lee, who just presented the paper, and Mr. Evan Ng and C.K. Lim, as well as Mr. Raman Wong. And then those who are here, please pardon me for another 30 or 35 minutes to share with you all what is about the roles and responsibilities of NGOs in Malaysia. Hi, Andrew, how are you? Okay, next please. CK?
Yeah.
Okay, as you all know, in Malaysia, we have a strategy of OSH. OSH is a master plan where we had from the year 2016 to 2020. And this has got 5 elements. Our master plans has got 5 elements. Of course, you can see the screen: government leadership, strengthening of OSH management, and last is international alliance. In between, we are there for the NGOs and the OSH practitioners, where OSH sharing and network and mainstreaming of industrial hygiene, which falls into the categories of, we can see in the pyramid, of course, at the bottom there, we have the OSH players, of course, NGO, OSH practitioners, competent persons, training providers, service providers, etc. So this is where we are going to discuss today what is the roles of the NGOs. Next. You see, OSH of 2020 strategies, we for the 2020 2019 alone, under the governmentship of DOSH. DOSH is Department of Occupational Safety and Health, which comes under the Human Resource Ministry, directly under government. We have conducted a lot of OSH-rich programs, is industrial association and professional bodies which has participated, where we had about 203 programs by associations and 483 dialogues talked by DOSH. DOSH is authority, as I told you, and 139 dialogues by association, like we are the associations. And totally for the year 2019 alone, we have 18,714 participations who have involved in this, the year program. I'm talking about 2019. Okay, next. All right. We have got a lot of NGOs in the country under DOSH, under the government. So as you all can see in the screen, of course, we are one of the leading organizations or the NGOs in the country, which is Malaysian Occupational Safety and Health Practitioners, MOSHPA. And we have electrical and electronic associations. We have MARA, we have MPO, MIHE, we have also MSHOSH, which is also with all the corporate figures in them. And we have a lot of other associations. These are the NGOs. We have a master builder, 14 we can see in the screen, but we still have a lot more as NGOs. Next, please. All right. Here I take the privilege of talking about my association as an NGO, what we have done in the year where we have started in the year 2004, but I'm talking about the 2019. As I told you, MOSHPA is Malaysian Occupational Safety and Health Practitioners Association. We have started in the 31st of May in 1997. You can calculate it is about almost about, I think, 23 or 24 years we are in the industry. MOSHPA is also a full member of WAPOSHP. I've been discussing with, of course, CMO that our MOSHPA WAPOSHP program, we are supposed to have it in Malaysia, which has been cancelled due to the COVID. And but we will be having it next year in Japan. There will be a WAPOSHP. We had a program in Hong Kong. We had a program in China, and all over the world. All right, next. Okay, we have a vision. Of course, our vision is to strive to the leading non-governmental organization as an NGO and occupational safety and health in Malaysia. Of course, we have the mission also. You can see it in the screen. Next. All right, MOSHPA. The objectives, of course, to having an NGO as a MOSHPA is to benefit, first of all, is for our members. We work for our members, but not only for members, because this is safety is everybody's business. As being with our members and with our organization, is our part is to fair to everybody who are the practitioners throughout Malaysia. So to exchange knowledge and information and the foster safety and health culture. Safety culture is the most important. I have given a lot of topic about Malaysian safety culture and to create awareness of safety health practitioners and also have a high professionalism. In fact, MOSHPA was originally as a professionals association. But when we felt that safety is everybody's business, so we changed it to a practitioners association. Practitioners association, everybody can participate. From health part, from the construction part, everybody can be a member in our association. Next. Next, please. Right. Okay, next. All right. You can see it. What is the rules? What is our MOSHPA's part? So as we as a non-governmental organization, it was established in 1997 and having about 600 over members currently with our association. We go throughout the country because throughout, I think there is one, our participant is from Sarawak. Mr. Andrew is there, is also listening us. So we even go down to Sabah and Sarawak, which is the other part of Malaysia, and we do conduct a lot of courses and seminars over there. All right. This is our organization chart where you can see me as a president, and we have a deputy president, and we have a secretary as a KK, and deputy president as Bong. And we have a combination of all walks of safety practitioners. It's not only on the construction side, we have on the builder side, we have oil and gas, we have factory and machinery, everything. We have a combined. But these are the council members represents everybody to enhance our association. Right? Okay. We also are part of our Vision Zero, which has, I think, every part of the programs we have throughout the world. We have signed up with Vision Zero, where we wanted to make sure that what is Vision Zero is all about, and we want to maintain to zero accident policy. Next. Okay, this is Vision Zero policy, which we signed up together with our minister in the country. We can see it in the minister. We have a Perkeso personnel, and we have a DOSH authorities over there and all over the world. This is launching of our Vision Zero campaign in Malaysia. Okay. MOSHPA activities, as I've said earlier, we have every year we have a lot of programs organized by MOSHPA. All these programs are involved with the OSH. OSH, from the childhood, from the small children till to the elders who are in the working side, we do programs. So we can namingly, we have every year our My Heart, My Health. As you all know, health is very important. So we do a 5-kilometer run as My Jantung Run. And we have a corporate social responsibility CSR programs and OSH audits, which I'll talk to you later. And we have education and training also in line. I'll be discussing with you after this. Collaboration programs and annual MOSHPA conference and awards and overseas. We are as a national body, we are also involved in the international programs because we are a member of WAPOSHP. We have international programs also. We participate in overseas programs. Okay, I'll go on one by one on our activities. These are our activities. As I told you, My Heart, My Health program. Here, this is a program we run annually with all the, right, when I say that small children also participate, these are the program. It's about 5-kilometer run only. It's a 5-kilometer run where everybody can participate. This program was held in Putrajaya, the capital of Malaysia, where we had in the month of January in 2019, we had about 2,500 participants participating in. And all the government authorities as well and the government people participated in this program. This is a program which is very much welcomed by the public because they will know, even though it's a 5-kilometer run, they know what is important of health part. Health, running and being with the people, what is important. So this program is very good. And next. Okay. Corporate social responsibility. This is MOSHPA as an organization, as an NGO. We do, Malaysia is comprised with a lot of races. As you all know, when you have been to Malaysia, if you come to Malaysia also, you will see Muslims as a majority. We have Chinese, we have Indians, we have Kadazan, all races. So these races, we have our festival. Malaysia is known for all the festivals held by different races. You can see it here. This is one of the visits we made in 2019 when we had Chinese New Year, Kongi Fa Choi. Kongi Fa Choi is celebrated with Chinese over here. And while the celebration goes on with us, we do visit to all the old folks home. We go with them, we give them the food stuff, we have lunch with them, make them happy, we join with them. If you can see a next video, maybe later I'll show you how happy they are. All right. The next is Now, currently, although we are locked down in our houses, we cannot go, but the facilities are there, the online is there. So we do raise fund to give all the small children, they need food. So we have given to almost about 6 to 7 orphanage homes. You can see the pictures. That is one home where the Malay children, underprivileged children stay there. We give them the part, we go give them food stuff. Also, we have given to the Indian homes. The small kids are also there, so we get our suppliers, go and give them, and they are very happy. You can see the brightness in their face. So although we care for the safety as well as CSR programs, we have also, you can see in the picture, CSR programs, the medical staff, the frontliners. Frontliners are very important. Now they have risked their life working for us in hospitals. We have given the facial masks to the frontliners. We have given the police authorities who are there. We have given them the facial masks. We go and give to them. They are very happy because what we can do, we are as a small organization, we still want to care for these people outside. So that's our part of the responsibilities. Next, please. Okay. Coming to OSH audit, we as an NGO, we as an safety practitioners, we must make sure that all the project sites are really taken care. We go them to audit. We go to the project sites. We audit them. The reason to audit is that when we have realized that when we go to the project sites, we audit. When we audit, it's not only to point out to them the good part. Normally project site, when we go, we prepared and then they show we have done everything in order. But then our part is to go and see where they have neglected, where there are small little things where they would have not seen. So every year we go, we have experienced that when we audit every year, second year when we go to them, they are very happy because we will look for them, they have done the corrective things or not. So audit is very important. And secondly, that's where when our awards come. After auditing, we have an audit team and then we forward to them what are the findings on the project side. After that, we also award them. Awarding all these companies, awarding all these project sites is very important, very important, because otherwise if they don't get recognized, they don't improve. They need the recognition to improve themselves. We have gone major players as what we can see it in Petronas or the electrical board and all that. We have audited from the bigger organization till the small organizers, medium players, everybody we have audited them and give them awards. This is MOSHPA audit. Next, please. Next. Okay, MOSHPA OSH training and development. As an NGO, we are assigned, or our responsibility is to give trainings to the trainings and other developments to the people. So next. We have got a special, of course, Malaysia, you can see site safety supervisors competency training. When you work in the site, we have the well-trained safety officers, competent safety officers. Next to them, that's 20 million and above projects, we have the safety officers. 20 million and below, you must have the safety officers, safety supervisors. This, the DOSH, earlier I have said Department of Occupational and Safety and Health, they have to have a competency on the supervisors. So we take the role. We have our trainers. We go to the project sites. We do give them a training. We take a full day training, as one of our training is a site safety supervisor, which is endorsed by the government, endorsed by DOSH. And once they have become a competency on the safety and health, the project sites improve. This is where, because as you know, the contractors will just do the project just to complete the project as fast as possible. But this criteria to have the supervisors to tell them what we need. So you can see where our trainers has gone into training. That is one of our training, one of our main role being an NGO. Next. Okay, this is a basic ringing and slinging and lifting supervisors. It's also competency. A lot of accidents happen because of lifting procedures. A lot of cranes lift things and all that, but you don't have the competent people around. If you leave alone the operator to operate, he will be just want to finish his job. He lifts anything is put there. But you don't have these ringing and slinging supervisors to take care whether the load is correct load is taken, or the slings are properly used, or the defect on the slings and all that. This is also very, very important trainings, because our side more on the safety officers and safety supervisors from the construction side. So we go to all the construction. This is as per the companies require. We go over there and then we give them a training and give them a certificate. We authorize them. Our authorization is always accepted by the WAPOSHP. Next. Again, it comes to basic occupational first aid. This is another requirement on the sites. We BOFA and AED and CPR. So we do a training. We have a competent safety officers, first aid practitioners, first aid experienced people who are licensed. So we take them to the project site and tell them what are the first aid you to have on the site. As we know, in Malaysia, I think anybody have more than 20 workers and above, they must have a first aider. The first aider is must. Otherwise, if they don't have a first aider, I think the project even can be stopped. So we do give the training. As our organization, we give a training for first aid trainers. Next. All right. These are the after trainings. As you all have heard that all the construction workers, all the workers in Malaysia, they have to undergo at least a minimum a day's training or 2 days training at CIDB. CIDB is a Construction Industrial Development Board which authorize you. They give you a green card. That's why at the corner you can see a card. It's a green card. Without this card, you cannot enter the project site. That is a mandatory regulation in Malaysia. So we give them a training because these are the workers. They must know what they can do, what they cannot do in the project site. So after going through the training, when we give them the training, they are given this card. Everybody carries a card. In Malaysia, everybody must carry a card when they are on the project site. Not only in the project site, oil and gas, they have their own card. In electrical board, or Petronas, or anything, you must have this card to enter the site. Next. Next, please. Okay, collaborative partners. We, as an NGO, we have a collaboration with WAPOSHP. WAPOSHP is Department of Occupational Safety and Health. We are a member with them. We are also with the NCOSH. NCOSH is a National Safety Council. Authority body. We are the people who make all the acts. IOSH makes the act in the parliament. And I am very proud to say that I am a part and parcel of IOSH, where I'm the council member. I'm a member of IOSH, which I've been appointed by the government to be a member. And next CIDB, I just spoke to you. Perkeso is a SOSCO. IOSH is a training institute. Yes. Yeah, polytechnics, and we have the other foreign partners, Social Resource Development, SRDI, and Asia Pacific organizations. Next. Okay, this is as a commitment for the government. The government as the Prime Minister himself has made a declaration to say every individual, every project site people has to be part and parcel of these OSH practices. So last year, he has gone on a campaign where 115,951 signatories went to sign. MOSHPA has successfully gathered about 5,000 signatories to support this ENCOSH commitment. And you can see the DOSH Director General holding it with and they were briefed. All the underneath is all the workers and the competent people who are in the project side have signed. We have that much 115,000 people as committed. So all our workers in Malaysia, they cannot say, I just work, I don't know, just for the salary. No, the commitment must be there. They have gone to commit. All right. 6 is MOSHPA OSH National Conference and Award. MOSHPA has been conducting. MOSHPA is well known for this award. This award we give there to recognize the contractors, all kind of contractors, medium, low, and high-rise people, to recognize them. We have been doing this since 2005, and last year, 15th, that was the 15th MOSHPA OSH National Conference Award in 2019. We can see even CM Ho, the IOSH president at that time. You can see that the minister over there. We have seen our council members. We have been so happy they've been recognized. This is our OSH National Conference Award photograph with the DG also. That was a most happiest moment for us. And overseas program, you all know that we've been even in China, Guiyang last year to participate in the WAPOSHP conference. After that, we were in Hong Kong participating in the program. And we ourselves, MOSHPA, has gone to USA to conduct papers. New Delhi, we have done several conferences. We have gone and seen our Malaysian experience in Delhi. We have gone in Goa. And we have gone to Bangkok and other parts all over the world. And we are still continuing going. Definitely we'll be going to many other parts. If they require us, we are prepared to go. Next. Yeah, this is one of the one program where it was held in Delhi. We've been there with the Delhi's minister. You know, in Delhi to get even a minister is very difficult, but he has taken time to come and attend our program. I have given a lot of people. In fact, I was organizing chairman, the assistant organizing chairman for them to organize this program. You can see even Bernie over there and other Malaysian counterparts. You can see KK. This is one of the programs we are Apex India Excellence Award International event. Next. Okay, this is with Vincent Ho. There's one write-up also when we were in London. When we were in London, we were there to participate on the AGM, and we participated with other members in international event in Mumbai. The paper cutting is also in London. Okay, next. Okay, this is an international event, IOSH UK annual AGM, which was held in London. We have participated there from Singapore participant, Vincent Ho, and I think we have even a member from Hong Kong. And that's our ongoing programs as internationally. Next. All right. International event in Hong Kong. I think you all should be familiar to see any of your known people. Yeah, this is a photo was taken with the IOSH representatives in Hong Kong. We had a good time in Hong Kong. We were when the bridge was opened in Hong Kong, I think we were the first one to travel from Hong Kong to which part of it? The other part, almost about 42 kilometers. Next. All right. On conclusion, I think this is our collaboration. We'll amplify the target group, collaboration with the industries, and development and implementation of national OSHM. And before I conclude, I think we still have a few more minutes. Yes, Mr. CM, do we have a few more minutes? Yeah, yeah, of course. This is our this is our contact points, and we have our barcode there. If you have your handphone, you can go and go to the barcode. You can click there and see what is our activities, how to get in touch with us. If you need any assistance like what this today is, I think we enjoy doing it. Can we have the small presentation before I conclude?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a small presentation when we had our conference and award.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, just give me 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Can you hear the
You all
sound?
here?
Yes, okay.
Can.
Go on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Gana.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comprehensive presentations to us. Well, is there any question or query from our ladies and gentlemen?
No
Okay,
query,
well,
but thank you very much. I think it is a very fruitful presentation across the border, okay, so that we have a good understanding, although I understand very much from the previous apostle contact with Dato Kenna already, but I think it's a wonderful sharing. Thank you very much. And thank you, CM, for your putting it together.
Okay, thank you.
Well, let me introduce Daron. Dr. Daron Leung is one of our famous safety expert in Hong Kong and in the mainland China. He is the professor in the mainland China, and he taught a lot of course in the mainland China. So thank you, Daron, to join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
CM.
Thank you. Okay. Well.
Hello. Hello,
yes.
Dato Kenna.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Nice of seeing you again.
Yes.
You're old friends. Yeah, you're old friends. Yeah. Okay.
So I'll come to Malaysia when the coronavirus is gone. So I will come to see you.
Definitely, waiting. Okay, then.
I will come to Malaysia, and also after the pandemic, I will go there to buy some properties.
Okay, good.
No. Buy some land, please. Okay, CM. No property. Property is not good. Buy land is good. Okay, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next topic. Well, the next topic will be delivered by Mr. Evan Ng. He is the immediate past chairman of IOSH Hong Kong branch. Is Mr. Ng here?
Yes, I'm here. Do anyone, everyone here hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Sure,
Oh,
sure,
good.
sure.
Good to see you. since the Approach 33.
Okay.
Okay.
But we can't see you though.
Yeah, because
picture.
my background is too messy.
Okay.
It's all right.
We want to see your face though. Okay.
All right, okay, I give you a pop-up of my face here.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Come
No.
on.
Okay.
No.
Hey, see.
KK, that's KK.
Yes, KK. Yeah.
All right. Can you see me?
Ah, okay.
Done here.
Can see you there.
Okay.
See you there, handsome face there.
See many old friends here.
A handsome guy there. Okay.
Yeah.
A little bit old. All right.
Handsome old guys. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for having me here to give you a very brief introduction about the IOSH Hong Kong here. Let me share my screen first. Let's see. All right. Can you see my screen here?
Yes, sure.
Everyone's
Yes,
here?
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me start my presentation here.
Is that it?
Come on. Right, it is not presenting mode. All right. Okay, thanks for having me here to give you a very brief introduction about the IOSH and the some background and some development in the IOSH Hong Kong. Let me introduce myself first. I'm the FNM of IOSH Hong Kong, the immediate past chairman in this term of service. And I'm really happy to deliver this back to all you guys, and especially the friends over Malaysia and some old friends I've been meeting over the Approach 33 in actually 1 year something ago. Okay, in my presentation, some highlight want to give you some idea about the IOSH, what is IOSH, and I think most of the participants here, they are already studying the course, which is accredited by IOSH and headquarters, and some background information about IOSH Hong Kong and about the mentorship program in Hong Kong, and also the IPT cycle, which is applicable to all the members, such as a student member and graduate member, which can show you how do you move on from the student member to the charter member, and as well as the charter fellow in the future. Okay, IOSH Hong Kong, no, not just IOSH Hong Kong. I'm just representing Hong Kong to give you some information about what is IOSH. IOSH is the world's leading professional body in which is a charter body in the entire world. Now we have about since the end of 2019, we have about 48,000 members over the 130 countries in the world, which is the largest charter body. We aim to provide support and set standard for develop and connect our member with resources, guidance, event, and training to all the members in all over these 130 countries in the world. And our role is to support the safety health professional. We are the advisor. Usually we play our advisory role in the organization, and we provide support, research, and some advice, and also training in our own organization or whatever in your organization is. And what our aim is to provide a safer, healthier workplace to all the people working in their workplace in their own country. And this one telling you why we have to join IOSH, because we have to increase our career prospects, maximize your potential, enhance your knowledge from time to time, and not keep it up to date, and also build a network and enhance your network, not just today, and build up your network with the friends over the same region. Let's say we are all working and living in the Asia Pacific region, we can build up our networks through many collaborative events, such as the Approach and also the other events in this region. We also provide access to technical advice and expertise to many organizations. When we also give you a voice in the global movement for change. What we know from not just headquarters, we have a lot of collaborative communication among countries, and from the news from the headquarters, and then further develop in our own country. I think many of the new member, no matter he or she is the student member or graduate member, they most interested It's about how do we move on from our membership. And this picture shows you a very simple and an overall picture about the membership structure. And if you are already studying the IOSH accredited course, you should be already a student member. I'm not sure whether all you know now the student member for IOSH is free, but only for the full-time student. And if you are part-time student, you still eligible to be a student member. You need to pay 50 pounds per year. And it is good news since the student member is free, so it can show you the way how to move on to the graduate member. For those ARs, associate member, technical member, affiliate member, some of these members still exist, but they are the old people, some with some more history in the past, and now you just need to focus about the student member, and then after your graduation, you got your pass in your accredited course, and then you can move on to the graduate member, and then you can start your initial professional development, another process to give you further development and with the CPD, and then move on for 2-year study to submit the homework to prove that you are competency and professional enough to become a charter member. But before that, you have to go through a PRI, which means that there's a peer review interview, and then you can further move on to charter fellow for some longer years. Depends on your exposure and your contribution to the IOSH. And this is the work 2022. Actually, this vision, this 5-year strategy has been set early in 2017. Actually, we have 3 broad aims to underpin for this work 2020, which are to enhance the OSH professional, and then build strategy partnership through the collaboration. That means we have a lot of cooperation, collaborative work with the organization, some NGO, some government body to build up our work and our vision and our how do we want to move up to further enhancing the OSH in our region. Also, we have to strengthen our influence and impact globally, starting from our own country and then to the same area in Asia Pacific, and then further to the whole world. Now, I'll give you some very simple introduction about IOSH Hong Kong. IOSH Hong Kong was founded in 1999, which means Darren may also know this too. We have been set up for 20 years, and in 2020, we are now we have our 20 years anniversary, which is a great year for the IOSH Hong Kong. As we are the support to IOSH headquarters in the UK, we'll keep develop our participation in the Asia Pacific region, and we are also providing a platform to connect members in other IOSH branch groups. And you may see we have a lot of communication together now with Singapore branch, and I also know that because MOSHPA, if the member they want to join the membership, they have to join the Singapore branch at the current moment. And the next part is about the focal point of our OSH related matter in all the regional and with, as I mentioned before, for the local safety and government utilities. We also want to gain more exposure and promote the profile of IOSH in Hong Kong, but not just Hong Kong, but in the also the Asia Pacific region, as I mentioned a number of times before. All right, Hong Kong, IOSH Hong Kong also become a full member of WAPOSHP since 2014. Actually, we have been holding 2 WAPOSHP events. The first one was in 1997. The last one was in 2018. At that time, I saw and met many friends over there, and we joined 3 committees of WAPOSHP, such as the Technical Committee, Education Training Committee, and also the OSH Management System Committee. 2018, that was held in Hong Kong, and also we joined the Federation of Hong Kong, the FOSA, as a member and actively participate in the local OSH related matters. And this is give you a very brief picture about the membership allocation in Hong Kong. Now, normally we have about 800, sometime up and down, because some member may be retired and some new blood is joining into the IOSH Hong Kong. Now we have about 800 members, include 22 charter fellow and about normally around 400 charter member. And now we have some graduate member and student member. Well, I wonder there are just 4 people they want to get that free privilege to join the IOSH, but I think that's good chance to let you to step in the first step to join the IOSH, and then after you graduate, you further move on to graduate member, and then after 2 years time, you can further step up to charter member. And this is all about Hong Kong. I give you some information about what is the benefit if you are a member of a IOSH Hong Kong member. Now you have to networking with overseas and the local OSH organization, such as the SRDI, also a good organization and training provider, and council and FOSA, many, and as well as some big local companies that you can, with the help and collaboration with the member, you can share a lot of OSH information from all this, from this organization or NGO. Also, you have some networking with the local member. We provide CPD event, technical talks, and visit. Of course, we have been impacted by the COVID-19 quite seriously in 2020 since the January, and we are now trying to move on to another alternative way to give you the chance of having the CPD, such as the online webinar. We are trying to do this, and you will see this more in Hong Kong. And also we provide support to the mentoring for the graduate member. You in the next coming slide, I will tell you some more about the mentoring things. And also we provide the mandatory basic safety training certificate, green card, which is similar to Malaysia. They also need to have the green card before they can enter the construction site. You can also access the microsite. That means the Hong Kong site now is under the headquarters of UK. You can see a lot of the local information, such as our newspaper and the CPD event, what's the upcoming event, and then you can participate and join all these events through the microsite. And we will send our member about regular newsletter to show you what we have been moved on and what will be the upcoming event. You can all see this. And just mentioned before, the mentoring program. Mentoring is a both professional and personal relationship. Once you finish your student member and move on to the graduate member, you can start your IPD, initial professional development. That's the key process to help you move on from the graduate member to the charter member. You have to go through this process. You can do it alone, but you are not alone. You can ask for help from the headquarters. Once you submit your request to ask for a mentor, the UK membership team, they will assign you, or you can actually give you, if you know someone in Hong Kong that he or she is working in the same field, and you think he can give you some good insights, inspiration, some guidance to help you through the entire CPD process, you can talk to the Hong Kong branch, and then we can assign that mentor to match him to you and guiding you from the very beginning of the IPT to the end of the PR, before PRI. The mentors induction with mentors is vital to the process. You know, some of the mentors, they are quite experienced. They know what is the key information, what's the key process, key concern, key focus. You have to know to go through this professional development process. And very simple, what I have mentioned is all mentioned in this useful link. You can see how I can move this away. now you can see if you want to join online, how do you move on from just a accredited course, a student member, and then how to move up. You can see all this link to see how to become an IOSH member. What is the membership journey from student member to graduate member to charter member, and then further to charter fellow, and how do you move on what is the detailed requirement to this process? You can find inside the initial professional development what I've mentioned about the work you have to do before the PRI and during the entire process. If you have some question, some frequently asked question about what is the tips and hints about to be a member of IOSH, you can check this link by the membership FAQ, which is very helpful. And some last thing is about the competency framework. IOSH is developing the competency framework in late 2019. Some membership survey has been sent to all the members, and about I as mentioned before, about 48,000 members in the world, and about 10,000 feedback providing back to the UK, and then the headquarters has consolidated and analyzed this feedback, and then give us some blueprint about what will be the membership develop in the future. In this competency framework, you can click it after the meeting and read it through. That's about the 10 pages portfolio, 10 pages slide to show you what will be the future development of the IOSH about the competency. We will there will be a 12 technical 12 areas with 69 elements to show you how this affecting the membership. How do we allocate our specialists in different area of this professional development in the future? But because the COVID-19 also impacting this, and this plan has been postponed to end of 2020. So just stay tuned, and then you will see what will be the development. But at the moment, you can still rely on that journey about the student member, and then the this slide, and this is the current state. You can still follow this, and no big change at the moment. I think until end of the 2020. All right. All right, very brief. And do you have any question and queries here?
Yeah, I'm Lim from MOSHPA, the Vice President. Very good presentation.
Yep.
Yeah, on regarding IOSH. In case we have some question, or do you have the your email that we can forward you some question? Is it okay? Your personal email.
You mean our branch's email?
Your email.
Email is in my slide. You can, if you have any inquiry, you can mail us here.
Okay.
Hong Kong at IOSHnetworks.com.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, you are very welcome to ask. But as mentioned before, because the Malaysian member, if you want to join the IOSH, you should be
joining Singapore.
Singapore, exactly.
Singapore, yes.
Yeah, Singapore.
I see.
They will be very happy to provide assistance. Of course, we do have our knowledge, which can share to you all the time if you have. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ng, for your presentations. So the fourth part we are going on is Mr. C.K. Lim. He is the manager of SHE Academy and Consultancies. Well, his topic is Malaysia OSH competency, frameworks, and legal requirement. Mr. C.K. Lim, please.
Okay. All right, everyone.
Where's my friend WC?
Can everybody see?
Yeah. Good.
Clear,
Good.
right? Can
Yeah.
everybody hear my voice?
Yes, you can see
Okay,
me.
clear. Okay, so first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank CMO, Professor Dr. CMO, for giving me this opportunity to present to you all on the Malaysian OSH competency framework and also overview of OSH legislations. Before I go further on my slides, I'd like to introduce myself. So I'm actually OSH practitioner as well, just like all of you here. So my name is Sike Lim. So I'm attached to SHEA Academic and Consultancy at the moment. So I'm the manager of SHEA Academic and Consultancy. So my presentation today, basically, I'm divided into 3 areas where we started with the introductions of SHEA Academic, who is SHEA Academic, and what are they doing, and also I would like to once again I'd like to reinstate and also introduce who is we call it as DOSH, or the Department of Occupational Safety and Health. And secondly, I will be followed by the overview of OSH legislations in Malaysia. I'm not going to cover all, but I'm going to cover the general requirements on what are the important laws that is related to my slide, and also to show you to differentiate. Maybe you can differentiate between the your local regulatory requirement and so our Malaysia's one. All right, and lastly, we'll be highlighting on the OSH competency framework. So for the first part, I would like to introduce who is SHEA's Academic and Consultancy. So basically, these are the core business of SHEA Academic. So we are OSH training providers. So we provide trainings locally. So at the moment, and also we are providing like competency trainings, awareness trainings, management system trainings, and so forth. All right, we do provide consultancy services, OSH consultancy services to the clients, in terms of advising them what are the regulatory requirements to be complied, so that they are able to fulfill it, in order to avoid prosecutions and also subsequent actions. And the third part would be on we are also doing the OSH audit and also inspections for the clients, construction sites, manufacturing, and also some premises. So they request us to highlight to them, what are they lacking, where are they lacking, and then what are the point where are they supposed to improve in order to fulfill the legal requirement. And lastly, we are scaffold specialists. We do have a scaffold competent person. So here in Malaysia, in order to become the competent person, you have to, certain criteria you have to achieve. Like for instance, you have to go through the process, you have to go through the examination, assessment, and in order to become the competent person, then only you be able to erect and dismantle the scaffold. And also we do some scaffold inspections. And at the same time, we do provide services like professional engineer drawings for the scaffolding. So in Malaysia, we do have the specific regulations specifying about the requirements for erection scaffolds. So what are the standards? And that is basically what we should comply and what is our business. All right, so before I go further again, so this is my presentation on the DOSH. So who is DOSH? DOSH basically is a Department of Occupational Safety and Health. So as highlighted by Dato earlier, it is a department under Ministry of Human Resource, which is a department responsible to ensure the safety, health, and welfare of people, as well as protecting others from safety and health risks while performing their works. Basically, there are three. Okay, there are three main core duties of this. We call it DOSH. So number one is standard setting, followed by promotion and also enforcement. So what do we mean by standard setting? So in Malaysia, DOSH is function as they are supposed to review, draft, and finalize the national OSH policy and also OSH legislations, to check whether it's relevancy and whether it's necessary to make any changes according to the industry changes. And also, DOSH do regular promotions. They do conduct promotional and publicity programs to the employers, workers, and the general public, by giving talks to the public, by doing talks to the organizations, by organizing campaign, exhibitions, So from there, our OSH practitioner are able to further, further enhance or further getting updating knowledge and also informations in relation to the OSH in Malaysia and also internationally. And lastly, the scope of the LOSH is about enforcement. So they are the regulatory body where they do carry out enforcement to the premises, to the job site, to ensure that the employer comply or fulfill the regulatory requirements in Malaysia, which is we have 3 main acts in Malaysia. So this one I'm going to cover later. So here you can see we have OSH legislation in Malaysia. So these are the regulation related to the law related to OSH in Malaysia. So we do have 3 main acts here. So number 1 is we call it as Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, or in short we call it as OSHA 1994. It provides legislative framework to secure the safety, health and welfare among all the workforce and to protect others against the risk to safety and health in connections to the activities that carried out at their workplace. And secondly, we do have Factories and Machineries Act 1967. So in short, we call it as FMA 1967. So in FMA is an act for the control of factories with respect to matters relating to the safety, health and welfare of person therein, and the registrations of the workplace and also inspections of machinery is stated under this law. And lastly, we do have the Petroleum Safety Measure Act, PSM 1984. So it is an act to consolidate laws relating to the safety in the transportation, storage, and also utilizations of petroleum. So generally, there are 3. So as for today, I'm going to highlight or capture to you on the 2 main act, which is covered for major industry, which is we call it as OSHA and also FMA. So in Malaysia, we do hierarchy. We do have hierarchy of legal framework. So as you can see from here, we have Act and Regulations, that is the highest order, and followed by orders in the industrial code of practice, guidelines, standards, self-regulations. So from this pyramid, you can see there are 2 labeled there. So the 2 labeled there, one is in blue, the other one is in white. So the one that's in blue is referring to mandatory requirements. That means the employer is compulsory to comply with the regulations or laws that stated therein. As for the 4th and the 5th one, the guidelines, standards, and self-regulations here is optional. Okay, they may have a standard, they may have the procedures which is greater or which is better than the Act and Regulations which have been stated. So they can have it, and in order to achieve the best practice. All right. So these are the 2 acts that I'm going to cover to you, as I mentioned just now. So let me go through the FMA regulations. So basically, it applies to these 4 main industry, which are mining, quarrying, manufacturing, constructions. Okay. There are basically 6 parts under the main sections, 59 sections, 3 schedules, 16 regulations, and 2 orders under Factories and Machinery Act 1967. So I'm going to cover you for the main sections and also what are the regulations. So the main section, we have 6 parts where we starting from preliminary, safety, health and welfare, person in charge of certificate of complacency, notifications of accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and occupational disease. Notice of, and the 5th one is notice of occupation of factory and registration of machinery and use of machinery. And lastly, it will be general. All right, so let me go into the regulations. So regulation, basically we have 8 safety regulations, 4 health regulations, and 4 administrative regulations and rules. So I'll be covering on the safety regulation first. So we start with electric passenger and good leave. So basically, these regulations is specifying the procedure for design and approval, the installation and testing, and what are the duties and also responsibilities of the owner and also the competent person. And second, we have person in charge regulation. Person in charge is referring to those machineries that require the person in charge to hold certain competency. Like for example, we have steam boiler, we have pressure vessel machine, we have cranes, we have forklift, we have excavator, and etc. So those are the machineries that require competency certificate to operate. Right? And the third one would be building operation and works of engineering construction, in bracket safety. So these regulations, in short, we call it as WAPOSHP regulations. WAPOSHP regulations specifying requirement for general and major activities in building operations and works of engineering constructions, in which the duty of the contractor, whether it's immediate contractors or it's subcontractors or any stakeholders. Stakeholders here is referring to the designer, the manufacturer, which are related to the projects. So they are supposed to ensure the safety and health of their worker while performing their task, or during the design stage, they are supposed to make sure the safety of the machine stuff. Right? As for number 4, we have fencing and of machinery and safety. So in this regulation, it does specifying requirements for construction and maintenance of fence and guards for machinery. So for certain types of machinery, it's compulsory. Actually, it's generally we will say for all kind of machinery, if there is any dangerous part, it's supposed to fence it off, and also make sure the guarding are in place before they put it to the operations. And we go into the number 5, regulation of safety. So under this, you have the steam boiler and unfired pressure vessel. So it is applicable to steam boiler and unfired pressure vessel as determined by the Director General of Department of Occupational Safety and Health Malaysia. So no person is allowed to manufacture or to use any of the above mentioned machines without the written permission from the DOSH. All right. So for those imported equipment, imported machineries, they are supposed to go through, they are supposed to get the approval from the local authority, we name it as DOSH, before they bring it into Malaysia, right? And for number 6, we have safety, health, and welfare. As for this regulation, regulations is specifying the minimum requirement in ensuring and also maintaining safety, health, and welfare at the workplace. Like for example, confined space, you have openings at the workplace, you are supposed to protect it. You have materials, you are supposed to stack it properly. You are supposed to make sure that the cleanliness are maintained all the time. And also you are supposed to make sure the ventilations are in order, and also the minimum requirement for lighting. So all these are clearly stated in these regulations. And now for number 7, we do have notification, certificate of fitness, and inspections. In this, it does specify requirements for applications of machinery that required certificate of fitness. Like for example, we do have a crane, we require PMA. In Malaysia, we call it a PMA. It's a certificate of fitness for hoisting machine. And we do have steam boiler. We call it that the license. We call it as certificate. We call it as PMD for steam boiler. As for unfired pressure vessel, that is like for instance the compressor, air compressor. You are supposed to have the PMD license. So all these are required machinery, require the certificate of fitness. And in order to obtain the certificate of fitness, and of course, you need to go through the inspection. The only party that can conduct the inspection, perform the inspections is by DOSH, our the local authority. We call it as DOSH. All right. So next, we have 4 health regulations. So in general, I'm not going through one by one at this, but then in general, all these health regulations is related to and define it does define the permissible exposure limits to each type of chemical, and each type of chemical they have different permissible PL, call it permissible exposure limit, and thus outline the arrangement for exposure monitoring. So this is generally regarding the health So in 2019, our WAPOSHP has revised it on the noise exposure, where in this they have made some changes. One of the quite obvious one is previously action level has been set at 85 decibel, but then now the action level has been reduced to 82 decibel. When they're exposed, they are supposed to carry out the, what do you call that, the monitoring, health monitoring for the particular person, for those who are exposed to the noise. All right. So the next one will be on the administrative side. So administrative side is basically about compoundable offense under the Act, and so the offers of compounded payment, and also we have the certificate of competency examinations, where there are boards where the member of panel of examinations for certain competency program, they have to go through a thorough, we call it thorough checking before they allowing those training providers to conduct their trainings. So they do have examination board and all that. All right. So these are generally regarding the FMA regulations. Okay. So we go to the Occupational Safety and Health Act. So under OSHA, we do have the applicability of the OSHA is to generally to all the industry. Manufacturing, there are 10 industry being specified under this. So manufacturing, mining and quarrying, construction, hotels and restaurants, agriculture, forestry, and so forth, right? As you can go through from the slide here. All right, so next, the arrangement of OSHA is basically divided into 15 parts, 67 sections, 3 schedules, 7 regulations, and 2 orders. OSHA, there's 15 parts. We have preliminaries, appointment of officer. Officer here is referring to the government officer, the WAPOSHP officer. National Council for Occupational Safety and Health, NCOSH, highlighted. Dato is one of the advisor in the one of the committee for NCOSH. And general duties of the part 4, general duty of the employee and also self-employed person, general duties of employee, general duties of designer. As I mentioned in some, these are the stakeholder, designer, manufacturer, suppliers, safety and health organizations, notifications of accidents and dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, occupational disease. And we have prohibition against use of plant or substance, which is hazardous to health, also safety. And we do have industrial code of practice, enforcement and investigations, liability for offenses, appeal, regulations, miscellaneous. All right, so we capture into the 7 regulations being captured under the OSHA 1994. So first of all, we do have the Employers' Safety and Health General Policy Statement exemption. So the exemption be given to those organizations which employ less than 5 employees. They do not need the OSH policy, but they do have, that would be better. As for organizations that have 5 or above employees, they are compulsory. They are compulsory to formulate a OSH policy in Malaysia. And second, we do have control of industrial major accident, control of industrial major accident regulations. So under these regulations, basically this specifying the to prevent the major accident from taking place in the industry. Basically, it's applied to all the industry, and those industry that involve or likely to involve a quantity of hazardous substance, which is or are equal to or less than 10% of threshold quantity. It is to limit the consequences of people, property, and also environmental damages. Right. The number 3 and third one would be Safety and Health Committee. The regulations is making further provisions really in regards to the establishment, the functions, the management of the Safety and Health Committee, compositions of and functions of the meeting, and the training they're supposed to provide to the Safety and Health Committee. So how frequent they're supposed to conduct the meeting. So it's being specified clearly under the Safety and Health Committee regulations. And the fourth one is use of standard of exposure chemical hazardous to health. That's what they call it as USH regulations. So these regulations have an objective of to prevent the occurrence of occupational poisoning and also the occupational disease. So where employer are supposed to register their hazardous chemicals in a chemical register. And they're supposed to identify of chemical hazardous to health in the chemical register, maintain the chemical list, but they have to make sure they record it, where they use it, who is dealing with it, and also what is the quantities of storage, what is the quantity being used every month, the permissible exposure limit, and is necessary to carry out the assessment of risk to health, or we call it as a chemical health risk assessment. So all these are being stated clearly under the use regulations. As for safety and health official regulations, and here the regulation does state that it is the duty of the employer to register the SHO on board and to inform the or notify the local authority, our WAPOSHP department, on the SHO being on board, being appointed, and also the duties of the employer to make sure they provide CEP, trainings to the SHO, and the duties of the SHO being clearly specified under these regulations. All right, for the next one, notification of accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, and also occupational disease, where it does specify they are reportable cases or accident, they are supposed to inform or notify to the nearest WAPOSHP office. All right, so the first one would be death, okay, death. Second would be major injury or any cases which has medical leave more than 4 days. We have dangerous occurrence, like for instance, we have fire take place at the job site, we have crane collapse, we have collapse of structures. Those are dangerous occurrence being classified here. And also we do have occupational poisoning and also occupational disease, which are supposed to report to WAPOSHP immediately, right? And the last one would be classifications, labeling, and safety data sheet for chemical hazardous to health regulations. It's being gazetted in 2013. So it specified the duties of the manufacturer and also supplier to provide complete information of the chemical products to the end user. All right. So they are supposed to make sure the labels are there. They are supposed to make sure the labels are complying to the, they have the hazard symbol and the minimum sizes, and all these are being specified specifically in this under these regulations. So I do have some key highlight in OSH, OSHA 1984. So here we do capture on one of the section, which is the general duties of employer or and self-employed person is under section 15 sub regulations 1. So it is the duty of the employer to make sure, as far as practicable, every employer is supposed to make sure their safety, health, and welfare. So in here is actually basically generally it would say to have self-regulations. It doesn't have a specific standard for an organization to comply with, but then it does specify that they supposed to come up their self-regulations in order to manage the risks that arise from the work activities. So to quote this, actually WAPOSHP do encourage to encourage the organizations, company, to actually manage the safety and health risks at the workplace. For those who have treated and for those who have dealt with the risk, they are supposed to control it. Okay, so these are the philosophy that are being used under this section. So as you can see, without prejudice to subsection 1, then the employer is supposed to provide and maintain the plant. So plant here refers to any machine, any equipment, any tools that are being used by the workers are supposed to be in safe conditions without risk to them. All right, and also they are supposed to come up with their own safe system of work. So when they mention safe system of work, it doesn't specify clearly and specifically on what type of safe system, safe work system they're supposed to have in their organizations. So in here, generally they do say you must have, as a basic, they must have procedures on how are they going to maintain the risk. Like for instance, they do need the direct hazard identification, risk assessment, and risk control. Maybe they will have the job safety and health analysis. So all these are being categorized under the safe system of work. It do require the emergency response procedures. So all these are under safe system of work. All right. As for B, you can see making sure that it's safe without risk to health arrangement for the activities in connection to use of plant while transporting, while storage. So even while we are using that, for example, one of the examples when we are using the crane, so we are supposed to have, other than operator, we are supposed to have signalman around. We are supposed to have a rigger around, so that to make sure during the transportations of the plant or any activity being carried out at the job site are safe. Right. Other than that, we do when we are dealing with those hazardous chemical or we are dealing with confined space, we are supposed to make sure that necessary arrangements being arranged or being carried out, being performed before the work starts. All right. And followed by the third one, we have providing information, instructions, training, and supervisions. So again, here they are encouraging and emphasizing on providing them distributing the information, the instructions, on-site supervision, and also all kind of training, whether let it be formal training or let it be informal training. So all these is under the employer's duties to provide it to the relevant parties, for instance, their workers, their employees, and others relevant or relating parties, right? So for providing and maintaining, the fourth one will be providing and maintaining the safe without risk to health workplace, including maintaining and also means of access and egress. So here they are to make sure that the access and egress are always maintained and always provided, so that workers are able to access to any corner of the workplace safely without risk. And lastly, under these sections, it's mentioning about the adequate welfare. They are to be provided and maintained. Like for instance, they are supposed to provide the sanitary convenience. They have the requirements for first aid facilities. Like just now Dato mentioned about every 20 workers, they're supposed to have one first aider. And for here, for every 150 workers at the job site or any premise, they are supposed to have one first aid room. So these are the example of welfare. Other than that, we do have like it doesn't specific clearly specific over here. It, like for instance, the rest area. So all these are to be provided to the workers and also employee at the workplace. So subsequently, we have section 16. So duties of employers to formulate OSH policy. So mentioned earlier, when there is 5 or more employee, we must have the safety and health policy. Yeah? So the OSH policy must generally contain the general statement of intent, of organization, and communicated to all the employees. And meanwhile, they're supposed to revise and review accordingly periodically. Okay, under these sections. So for those who are upon convictions, okay, the charges frame under section 15 to section 18, which carry a fine up to maximum of 15,000 ringgit Malaysia, or a maximum of imprisonment of 2 years or both. So these are the penalty that will be penalizing the employer for those who didn't comply or didn't follow these sections. All right, so let me show you, this is being taken from our DOSH official website. So they do publish those prosecuted cases. So these are the list of prosecutions where you can see, so under this regulation, they do have like, under OSHA, they do charges employer for about 56 cases from January to March. And also 3 companies are being charged under Factories and Machineries Act. So there are a total of 59 cases, and totaling amount of fine is equals to 1.021 million ringgit Malaysia. So they will publish, they will publish in their official website which companies have been punished and the amount of the punishment, and also what are the offenses they convicted. So as you can see, they do publish. So this will further, damage the reputation of the company. So right, as you can see, that one is March, as this one is for February. Yeah? So even for restaurant, as you can see, it's number 3. Pizza Hut restaurant is number 1. Also being charged for unable because failure to ensure SOPA is practical under Section 15. So the reason why I want to highlight in Section 15 is because they are charging basically mainly on this act, right? So for failure of organization to have the SOP, okay, safe operating procedures for their work. All right, so the last part will be touching on OSH competency framework. So in Malaysia, we do have 18 core competency. And you can see from here, number 1, we have safety and health officer. All these competency are registered under DOSH department. So being controlled by them, right? So we have the site safety supervisor, we have OSH coordinator, authorized gas tester entry, crane operators, until responsible person of tower crane, passenger hoist, and so forth. So as you can see from here, so all these persons, in order to become the competent person, there are certain criteria to be fulfilled. And so it's being specified under the requirement or the guidelines. So they are supposed to go fulfill it, then only they do the submission. So DOSH will review it. So once they fulfill the requirements, they will approve and they will become the competent person holding the competency certificate. As for the competency, they do have validity. So for every 2 to 3 years, they are supposed to renew their license. And of course, there are certain criteria to be fulfilled as well while renewing the competency certificate. So you can see from here, as for safety and health officer orders, so under safety and health officer orders, so the employer, if the following category, class, or descriptions shall employ a full-time competent safety and health officer if their construction or work of engineering exceeding 20 million ringgit Malaysia. Shipbuilding, gas processing plant, the chemical and elite industry, the boiler or pressure vessel manufacturer, metal industry, woodworking industry, cement industry, which exceeding 100 employees at the peak hour, and lastly, any other manufacturer that are not specific on the above, which exceeding 500 employees, they are supposed to have a full-time safety officer in their organization. All right, as for SSS, right? As for SSS, we are referring to site safety supervisor. So it's being regulated under building operation and works of engineering construction safety. So BOWAC regulation, it does specify clearly where the main contractor is supposed to appoint, supposed to, those days they do mention about the part-time, but then now they doesn't allow it, and doesn't allow the part-time site safety supervisor. They are supposed to have a full-time site safety supervisor who holds a competency certificate at their premises or in their organization. And at the same time, also like for constructions, they have subcon, and each of the subcon supposed to have one site safety supervisor as well. And if their worker is more than 20%, right? So these are the requirements for site safety supervisor, and it is only applicable to construction for site safety supervisor. All right. So as for this, OSH coordinator being introduced by DOSH at the end of year 2018. So they do encourage, the small medium industry to appoint at least one person from their staff, okay, to represent them as a OSH coordinator. We call it OSH in short. So who will be managing their OSH affairs? Their responsibilities is not limited to this, reporting the OSH status to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, DOSH, administrating OSH document, and also promoting the OSH culture, as well as taking related actions, maintaining the document, and also promoting the cultures. So here, it is because of the OSH MP has been mentioned by Dato earlier. So in an effort to support the Occupational Safety and Health Master Plan to 2020, a strategic plan being drafted out and being shared by the DOSH, where it has a vision to apply. The vision is apply preventive culture at the workplace, and the mission is to the OSH management enhancement at the workplace. So this strategic plan actually is focused on the manufacturing sectors of SMI, we call it, okay, small medium industry. So this plan specifically created for small SMI since there is a lacking of compliances in terms of OSH. So resulted in a high accident rate. That's the reason why they come up with this OSH. So it is one of the competent person it should have in the organizations. So next, I think basically that's it about my presentation. So these are our contacts. So you can actually pick up your phone to have a scan, to go through our website and have a look. And at the same time, if you have any query, you can at any time contact us and also email to us, so that we will, once you reach out to us, we will reply you, right? Okay, that's it. Thank you for my sharing. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Lim.
Yep.
This is Darren. I have a first question. Is it a requirement for have a full-time OSH coordinator within the SMIE that you just mentioned about?
All right. Okay. This is a initial stage where DOSH is encouraging every manufacturer in the small and medium industry to have a full-time occupational safety and health coordinator.
Oh, that's a full-time job, right? Okay.
Yes, it's a full-time. It's actually it's one of the representative from the organizations, and there is no currently there is no any law being stated there under where it's compulsory to have. But then they do encourage, they do train up. You know, they do train up those OSH coordinator, and now are in the progress of producing the OSH coordinator, and we are in the progress of submitting these documents to our local authority, where we believe that very soon we will be able to conduct. We'll be able to conduct this course.
Okay, right. Let me clarify one thing. So to have one as a full-time employee doesn't mean that he or she is full-time working as a health and safety coordinator.
Yes, exactly. As you can see the responsibility on there.
Yes, as long as he or she has this responsibility, I think that's already cope with the legislation, right? So say for example, okay, let me take example, whether I'm getting correct or not. Okay, if I have a whatever grade of staff, maybe a clerical staff, okay, we engage him or her as a full-time staff, but part of the duty is only part of it, okay, as a health and safety coordinator. Will that comply with this requirement?
You mean they are actually doing some other job at the same time?
Yes.
All right. So in this case, basically, paper-wise, I would say they must have an appointment. We call it an appointment letter. So yes, officially, they must appoint this person.
Yes, yes.
So as long as he fulfills the requirements, like the OSH documents are there, there are some activities or promotions activities being performed or being carried out by, as long as being performed by this person, that means he is compliant.
Okay. So first of all, this is not a legal requirement. This is just encouragement, right? And secondly, whoever they appoint, when they fulfill all this requirement, it's already compliant with this particular encouragement already, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So they not necessarily a full-time staff dedicated only for OSH coordinator position, right?
Yeah, correct. Exactly.
Okay, great.
As long as they are capable to cope with the task or the workload.
Okay, the second question is when we talk about administrative OSH document, what are they? What are we referring to?
OSH documented. OSH documents, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
What are we referring to?
Basically, they are plenty. Among them, like for instance, we need to have the OSH procedures. You know, when we want to draft an OSH procedures, of course, we must have we must identify the hazard and also do some risk assessment before we have it. So these are the minimums documents that required by the DOSH. So we have the SOP, we call it, safe operating procedures. We have emergency response plan. As for project side, we do have like project safety and health plan. So all these information or documents are required under the regulations.
Under other special regulation, not under this particular regulation, right?
It's under section 15. It's under section 15, as you can see from here. So here we do have the section 15. Yeah, the safe. Can you see under sub regulation 2A? So you can see safe system of work is categorized under this.
But then it's a little bit vague though. Okay, so you can claim a lot of different things that can be related to it, but not really necessarily prescribed by the regulation.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I captured earlier. So WAPOSHP do encourage the organization or company to have their own, we call it that self-regulations, to have their own procedures. So in order to justify whether it's safe or not, it depends on the employer. So how are they going to manage the risk? So managing the risk lies to those who create and also to deal with the risk. So these are the requirements.
But the dilemma is, okay, this is not a strict legal requirement. It's just an encouragement. So even if they are not complying, then there's no harm or there's no penalty for them. It's only can charge if it's okay. They can charge under the section 15(2), right? If they fail to have something or even an accident happen, then they can only charge under this legislation, the 15(2), but not the other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other question from the floor?
Well, let's thank you, Ski Nim.
All right.
Okay.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, well, may I invite you to give our speaker today a big hand.
Yes,
instead of giving them any physical souvenir.
Thank you. Yes.
So there's no physical souvenir. Well, we just give you a big hand.
Thank you.